Lesson E, Unit 8, The Travels of Marco Polo. In this lesson, you are going to learn some vocabulary related to the last journey that Marco Polo did before he went back to China. And you are going to revise past simple tense. The last thing you are going to answer the student book and workbook exercise. Let's start. I'm going to read the text for you. The Travels of Marco Polo, August 1295. I'm back in Venice. We lived in China for 17 years. So Marco Polo is speaking here. He went back to his country after spending 17 years in China with his father and his uncle. We were happy there, but it was time to go home. The Khan is Kublai Khan, the emperor of China, gave us ships for our journey. On the way, we stayed on the island of Sumatra. Kublai Khan gave Marco Polo and his uncle and his father ships to use it in their journey back home. During the journey, they stopped in the island Sumatra, and they because the journey is very long, they need to stop several times to rest and drink fresh water and eat vegetables in order to be healthy enough to complete their journey. We tasted coconuts. Coconuts, as you're going to learn, is a kind of nuts that planted in Sumatra. Sumatra is an island in Indonesia. Sumatra, Jazira of Indonesia. Anyway, in Ceylon, we saw wise men putting spells on sharks. Then the sharks did not attack the people diving for pearls. As you see in the picture, the wise man here means magician. Put spells. Spells here is a noun. It means words that have magical power. When the wise man said the words to the shark did not attack the divers who dived underwater to have the pearl, collect the pearl from the shells. Anyway, so in Ceylon, it is another place or yes island that Marco Polo traveled to. He saw the wise man putting spells or saying words, magical words to the sharks. The sharks after that did not attack the divers. In Persia, Persia means Iran or Bilad Faris in Arabic. We heard the terrible news that Kublai Khan was dead. We were very sad. It took 2 years to reach Venice. In Persia, during the journey, they heard the bad news that Kublai Khan was dead. Dead here is an adjective. It is the opposite of life. We were sad because, of course, it was Kublai Khan was a great man who made very useful things for his country and his people, and he was generous with Marco Polo and his family. When we got there, no one knew us. Marco Polo changed a lot. Look, he is now old man with white hair and white beard. So people didn't know him because he went lived in China for 17 years. 17 years is long enough to change your face and your hair and your body. No one knew us. We are the Paulos, we said. Marco Polo telling people we are Paulos, the family of Marco Polo. The Paulos, someone said, they are dead in China. Uh, the Paulos are dead. The people in Venice think that Marco Polo and his family did in China. We have so many stories to tell, but some people do not believe us. I am going to write my stories. I want people to know about the great Kublai Khan and the wonderful things we saw in China. As you see, Marco Polo is writing his book. From his book, we talk the travels of Marco Polo that we studied for this year. Marco Polo is telling stories, very interesting stories, but people in Venice didn't believe him because they didn't see that and they can't imagine that things like that could be true. Anyway, the question number two, I gave you worksheet about this question. Don't worry about that. You have to learn only the new vocabulary and revise the past simple. You will not find this kind of text in the final exam. Don't worry about that. Here is a map. The places that Marco Polo moved from one to another during his journey: Pekin, and then Sumatra, and then Ceylon, and then Parsha, and then Venice. And here are the most important events in his life. He wanted you to write a biography about Marco Polo, but I don't want you to do that. Just to learn the vocabulary and the verbs in past. Marco Polo is born 1254, 1269. Marco's father and uncle returned to Venice. 1271, the Paulos leave Venice. 1275, the Paulos arrive at the palace of Kublai Khan. 1295, Marco returns to Venice. 1298, Marco caught and put in prison in Genoa. They put him in prison because they think he is liar. 1298 and 99, Marco writes a book about his travels. 1299, Marco returns to Venice. 1324, Marco dies at the age of 70. Now the workbook exercise. Here is a text, and here are 5 true or false sentences. Kublai Khan was born in 1260. That's false. Look here. He was born in 1260 in Mongolia. When he was young, Kublai Khan was an emperor. This false. He became emperor in Mongolia Empire in 1260. So he was around 45, I think, 45, 44 years old. That is not young. Yes, 44 and 16 gives us 6. So he was not young. He was not, yes, he was not young. Kublai Khan wanted life to be better for his people. That's true. He built a big, beautiful palace, and he wanted to make life better for his people. Marco Polo worked for Kublai Khan in China. That's true. We could find it here. Yes, Marco worked for Kublai Khan. It's mentioned here. Kublai Khan's palace was in Beijing. That's true. Pekin, the capital of empire, he built a big beautiful palace there. So this word should be Pekin. Pekin. Write the events next to the dates on the timeline. 1216, Kublai Khan was born. It's mentioned here. 1260, he became an emperor. It's also mentioned here. 1264, he made Pekin the capital. It's also mentioned here. Yes. 1275, he met Marco Polo. Yes. He met Marco Polo in 1275. 1292, 1294, Kublai Khan died. Okay. Now these are the words: coconut, coconut. It's a kind of plant that you can eat it and you can drink the liquid inside it. Wise men, wise men, wise men, wise men, people who have knowledge. But in our lesson, he means by wise men, magician, wise men in general, people that have knowledge. They can give you advice. But in our lesson, he means by wise men, magician, pearl, pearl, jewelry that is formed inside the shell of lobster. Pearl is a jewelry that formed inside the shell. When a piece of sand enters inside this animal, he produces something around it, and it becomes a pearl, which is a kind of jewelry that is expensive. Dive, dive when you swim underwater. Prison is a place where criminal or people who made crimes spend their sentence here العقوبة sentence in the prison. Spell words that have magical power. Okay, now I'm going to give you the worksheet that we are going to discuss in the live chat lesson. I put some verbs in verb 1, verb 2, present and past. Live, lived, are, were, give, gave, stay, stayed, taste, tasted, see, saw, hear, heard, attack, attacked, is, was, get, got, know, knew, believe, believed, write, wrote, put, put. Some question, you should make it past simple. Remember that you have to use did plus verb 1. In negative, you use didn't plus verb 1. When you change it from past, you use the verb 2. That is going to be everything for today. Thank you. And we are going to discuss the worksheet and the grammar rules in the live chat Zoom. Thank you.